now, as you know, like, we have pretty much covered everything from the content, the BLueprism content perspective, right? And we are into this consolidation exercise. So the last time, like the last session, we have discussed about how we are going, like how we have created a basic process and through which we are accessing the objects that we have created. So we are done with the creation of the objects here with all those parameters. Now we will see like the first thing that we wanted to do is basically we wanted to uh, pass the data from our main system to the objects and retrieve back the data, right? So how we will be doing it? So for that, the first thing is you are going to read the data and you are reading it into a collection. So let's say I create a collection here. So you have this collection, let's say order system. So you have created one collection and then, okay, just unhide from the page. Now what we can do, so once you have created the collection and you are going here in the second page here, when you're getting the workbook as a collection, so in the output, uh, get this collection order system. All right, so here before launching your application, probably you wanted to first go into this page and read the data. So for that you have page stage, and then you can select the read order system data page, and then just connect the stages here. So by now you will able to at least get all the data in your collection, and then you have all those basic steps which are going to perform all the operation that you need in order to run your order system process. Now the thing is, as soon as you launch the application and you sign in, now the select option is static. I mean, you are always selecting. So let's go here in the object and see. So what we are trying to do here is we are login. So once we are logged in by using admin username and password and select one, because we are adding the order here, right? So once we add those order, so these are the variable thing which are we are going to read from the Excel sheet that we have, and then we are going to submit it. So let's say I have this Excel sheet, right? Order system.xls. Now you have this as an input file, and this is okay. So you have this as an input file, and you wanted to get the data of the total cost and get reference data here, and probably you wanted to print in the output sheet. So first thing is once we are here in the Object Studio, yeah, so you see like the username and password is static, but still we can pass these values from our main process. So let's say since you're passing the value from the main process to your child process, right? So for that, already told you, like, you can have the value here in your input. So let's say you add the value as an input. So you say like username kind of text. So just get the value and password. So this is password, yeah. So you have passed the username and password to this process, and then here instead of hard coding, you are getting the value as username, and here you are getting as password. And then you are clicking on the login page. So this is, I mean, this is how you are passing the value from your main process to your child process. But first thing is, since you have to get the value in your child process, you need to reference the value, like which variable that you are going to use in the start stage, and the value that you wanted to send from the child process to the main process, you wanted to give the output value in the end stage, right? So I hope this is clear to everyone. Now, when you go on the select option stage, I mean, here anyway, we are going to choose every time one only. So let it be one only, because there's nothing change. Then there's nothing getting changed in this particular stage, in this particular action. Now the main thing is the variable value that we required here is for, if you see, product code, number required, unit price, and cost center. So these four variables we will require pretty much to be passed from the main process to our child process. So let us add this value. So let's say I add product code and I take it as a text and store it into product code. Then add other value as number required, unit price, and then cost center. Yeah, so I've added all the values here, and then let us click on OK. So now what is like, I have all this input value to my child process. Okay, and after this, you can arrange like this. You can say input values like this, you can define it. So now your child process is getting all these values here, and then all these values of the data that you are getting in all these variables, you are passing it to your stages here. So instead of hard coding it, what I'm going to do is going to pass this value. So product code, number required, so you know this, right? Like in case you have to add some expression and all, like here you can press and then you can pretty much play with these options. So unit price, and cost center. So yeah, so with this I have mapped pretty much everything, and then we are getting the total price in this particular variable called total price, right? Now once we submit the order, so after that what I wanted to, like, do is I wanted to pass this total price variable to my parent process. So whenever I want to pass the value to my parent process, what I have to do, I have to go in end stage, define the output. So let's say total price, and we are getting the value in the total price variable. So we can just map this value here, get value from total price, click on OK. Now my order creation page is ready. Now we have submitted the order. So as soon as you submit the order, you get the order confirmation page where you are getting the reference data that you want, and that reference data you wanted to pass to your main process. So here you're not getting anything as an input, but yeah, you are passing some value from your child process to your main process as output. So again, what you wanted to do here, you wanted to go in end stage and add some output, or say reference number. All right. So this is also going to be text, and you are getting the value from the reference number. So yeah, so pretty much this. Now your at least your object stage is ready. You have assigned all the value that you are supposed to get as an input, and you have passed all the value that you're supposed to pass as output to your main process. And all the mapping of the variable has been done, all the wait stage, all the handling has been done properly. There is zero error. Then you can save the object stage. All right, now you are into your main process. Now here, the first thing that we wanted to do is we wanted to go and read the data from the Excel sheet, right? So once you have read the data from the Excel sheet, and you're going to store in your order system collection. So the current value will get all the data that you have. Now, after that, you will be launching your application, and you are doing the sign in, right? Once you have done the sign in, then what you wanted to do, like you wanted to loop into this particular collection, and for every row you wanted to input the data one by one, and pretty much repeat all this step, create order, get reference number. Okay, so once you once you go through all the data in the particular collection, and you have saved the data for the total price and get reference number in the collection, then you can end the loop and come out. So what we wanted to do basically, the first thing is, so once I have signed in, I wanted to use a loop stage. All right, so for using the loop stage, you know that we have to define the collection in which we are going to loop, right? So let's say, so order system, and then collection is order system. Okay. Now once I have completed it, let me end the loop, come out of it. Now here, let me just, yeah. Now as soon as you start looping it, this particular stage is right. This stage is nowhere affected because the input and output is pretty much constant here. We are always giving one, and you are just clicking the create orders button. Now the things are going to change in this particular stage, where you are going to put some value for the product code, number required, unit price, cost center, right? So what value will provide? So for the product code, from where you are getting these values, right? Because you are going to pass, this is your main process, and from main process you are going to pass the value to your object. Now in order to pass the value, you have all those input. Now all the matter is from where you are going to provide the value. Now you are going to provide the value from your collections, right? Now in order to access, so as I told you initially, so the collections are of two type. So if you see, it is a undefined collection. There is a defined collection where you already add the field, define what type of the field is, and then accordingly what value it is holding. But if you have not defined anything and you are importing, getting it through Excel sheet or any CSV file, those are called undefined collections. Now the thing is, you wanted to get the values and you wanted to create the order. So here you have to, in order to reference the value from the Excel sheet, what you have to do, like in order to access this particular element, you have to say collection dot field name. So the field name is product code. Just copy it. So you are going to access this first field, right? Because the loop is in, let's say, in the first row, and you wanted to access this first field. So you will say order system dot product code. Similarly, I'll just copy paste. You will do for the other field, and let's just change the particular field values. So this is number required. So this is how we are going to access each and every field values. Unit price and then cost center. Okay, so we have input all these values. Now the thing is, we wanted to output the values also. So the output value is total price. So we wanted to store the value in the total price, this particular column. So again, what we have to do, order system dot total cost. Okay, now this is done. Let me click OK. So I have created the order and then I've clicked on submit order, and then reference number gets generated, right? So in this particular stage, as you know, there is no input, but there is output value that we are getting it from the object as a reference number. So again, for this, you have to get the value in this particular field. So collection dot field name. Yeah. Yeah. So now this is done. You have connected everything. Now let's run this process and see what you are getting, right? So it is reading the workbook now, getting the collection value. So now you can see row 1 of 9. First row is going to run. Selecting the value, it is giving the first input value, creating the order, copying the order, going to the second row, giving the second value in the Excel sheet, getting the reference number, or accordingly it is going to the third row, inputting the value, getting the reference number. So this is how this, for every row, it is running the values and generating the result. Yeah, so by now, if you go and see here, you open your order system and you go in current values. So you see you got all the values, total cost, and then the reference number that you wanted to get for every row. So now, this is how you are passing the value from your main process, and once your object is ready to handle anything, you pass on the values to it and get it done. So main process is just like for defining, the entities and business rule and all this. The handling of any application is being done in object stage. Object Studio should be like all the work that you wanted to do with interfacing to application, you have to do in your Object Studio. So now, since we have read everything in the collection, right? We have got everything. What I wanted to do, so you can even make it more structured. Maybe you can copy the looping stage from the looping stage to loop and into some different page, and then you can call it from here. After signing in, you are calling that page. So you can do like that. So let me just do it for you. So let me say I just cut this thing. Like in order to make my process look better, right? So yeah, create order, paste the value here.
Hello, I am not able to hear you, Param. Hello.
You're not able to hear me? Hey, hello. Are you not able to hear me? Vinod, are you not able to hear me? I think there are a lot of background noise in your. You are not able to. How about other guy? Are you able to hear?
Yeah, Karan, we are able to hear you.
Uh,
We are okay, Karan.
okay, Vinod. Just try to. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of background noise are there. How like how about now? Are you able to hear now? Is it better? Hello, hello, Vinod.
Maybe his speaker is off or something.
Okay, maybe some issue at his end. Yeah. Anyway, so what I was saying, yeah. So I'm just going to connect this stage again here. All right, and this collection should be, yeah. So this is good, and then we can just bring our page stage here. Sorry, I'll just bring the page stage here. Say create order. Now what we also want to do is as soon as we create the order, right, and we have read everything in this particular collection, we also wanted to store in our Excel sheet. So for that, what we can do, like as soon as you come out of the loop, so you'll be coming out of loop in the create order page, and then you will be going into the end stage. Before that, what you want to do, so you wanted to create some action, MSVBO action, and here you wanted to what you wanted to do is write the value of your collection, right, into the Excel sheet. So the handle and all the variable that you have already created, you can just drag and drop there. The workbook name that is there, just drag and drop. The values are there in the collection, right? Which collection it is there in the order system. So you can use that. What is a worksheet name? So worksheet name is output. So oh, yeah, and cell reference number from where you wanted to give. So from A1. And include column name. Yeah, so true. So after we write this output, what we wanted to do is basically close the Excel sheet. So for that, close and save, right? So for that we have a save option, save workbook. Or you can also say like close workbook. So in that you can close the workbook and also save it. So you can use number, workbook name, and save data as true. And you can also do like here you can kill the application. For that we have utility environment, and then there is a kill process. So you can just say the process name is, let's say, order training process.
So, Karan, a quick question.
Yeah,
So, the value you're saying order training process, it's the same page name that we give, right?
yeah, the same page name, same page name. Yeah, actually just wanted to kill the process. You can also use the terminate stage. So you wanted to just close the other remaining pages like that. So now let me run this process at very fast speed. Okay. Yeah, now let us go and see the values. So once you open your order system process, in the output you received all the values here that you have saved. Now there's one more thing, like let's say you wanted to remove this line, what you can do. You just wanted this values. So there is one more thing you can do here. So in create order, once you have read the reference number, right? So you can use the calculation stage. So see guys, I mean, here are a lot of thing options are there. I mean, these options are, pretty much uh, self defined. It is something you can always go there and try to use it and understand what all options are there, you know because these things get asked in while you'll be writing the certification examination. Because usually even we work in project, we don't consider this small things, but they used to ask these things in certification exam. So just give some importance to this. So let's say if I use text thing, uh, here replace, right? There's a replace function. So what it do, it get text with one piece of text replaced with another. So let's say you have example here and I want to remove am to 2. So it will give, like, it will remove the am to 2 and rest of the values. Now what I wanted to do is, so whatever value that I am getting into my collection, uh, order system dot get reference, right? I'm getting the value in this particular field. And what I wanted to do, the pattern is, what is a pattern? So pattern is nothing but, if you see this value is repeating, please take note of your order reference, right? So what I just wanted to do, I wanted to just copy this value and use it here, paste. So here what I wanted to do is, so whatever value that I'm getting in this particular variable, right? And this particular value, I wanted to replace this value with blank. Stage 2, okay. So, and again, where I wanted to store, in the same variable.
So Karan, in first place, why are we getting this text? Please take note of your order reference.
So here, like, once you get the, let's say in the order system dot get reference, right? You will be getting the values, like you'll be getting the total value as, please take note of your order reference colon 1053. Now out of that, what you wanted to replace is, please take note of your order reference. And with what you wanted to replace with a blank. So here I just wanted to print the numeric value instead of the entire text,
But
right?
how the text came before? only the value should be there, right? It should be recorded in the collection. Why are we getting this text? Did we input somewhere?
So you will be getting this text in this particular variable, right? This
Okay,
particular text.
that's defaultly we get the text.
Yeah, you are getting this text like when you are reading the value in the get reference variable, right? You are getting this default text, and then the particular numeric value is dynamic, which is you are putting every time. Actually, what happening, like, I mean, in the last page, it give you that particular text. Please take note of your order reference colon ones, like whatever the value is, right? And every time you are copying entire value and sending it back, right? And you are sending it back in which variable? This particular variable, right? Order system dot get reference.
Okay.
Did you get it?
Yeah. Okay.
And then in this, you wanted to replace this particular text. So that's what I gave this text here. Okay, and how you wanted to replace? You wanted to replace it with blank values. Is it clear to you? Still you have doubt?
No doubt. So the text will by default will come, right?
Yeah.
The values are dynamic, but this text is default. So instead of
This text
creating
is
this,
default. This is I am defining. This text is I am defining, right? This is I am defining.
so in the action stage where we are getting these values, there only we can define that we don't want text, only the values we need. We could also do
Yeah,
that, right?
you can also do that. I mean, this is just doing in a different way. You can also do that. So there is no harm in that. So
Okay.
you can define, yeah. So what you can do, you can go in, here. So now let's say, yeah, in the order confirmation, right? So here in the order confirmation, once you have received the value in the reference number, okay, now you can use one calculation stage here. And do the same thing. Okay, so the thing is here, you don't have your collection defined in your object, right? You are defining your collection in the main process itself. So that is why here you won't able to do it, right? You got my point,
Okay.
because you're not able to access your collection from your object.
Hmm. We have to go to the
So that
process.
is, yeah, you can access it through your main process. You can create many different pages from there. You can access it, but from your object, you cannot access your collection that you have created. So here, that's why we are not able to do it. So we have to, do it in our main process itself. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, Karan.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah, I think I by mistake I kept my mute. So what I was saying that this was one of the way, through which we have achieved the result, and we have posted the data to back to the Excel sheet. We have stored whatever we wanted to store in Excel sheet back, and process the order system. Now, first thing is, are you guys clear with whatever we have taken, understood, right? The concept and all, because see, here we have pretty much used everything what we have discussed so far, right?
Yes, Karan.
Yes, Karan.
Yeah. Now we will try to do through work queue. Now this was we were doing it through using Excel sheet. Now let's do by work queue. Now again, to do by work queue, what we wanted to do, whatever that we have read in the particular collection, we wanted to store the we wanted to put all the values into the work queue. So first thing is we have to create the work queue. So for creating a work queue, usually you go in the system tab and then you go into your workflow. Under that you have work queue. So here you can create a work queue. So I already have one of the work queue created, order system, order queue. So I'll just copy it. And if you go here in the control room, once you click on the order queue, you can see all those, if there was previous exceptions and all. But once you refresh it, you can see like there here all those items which will be added to your queue will be get processed. Similarly for travel quote, as we have seen before, see, it will happen for order queue. Now we are going to use this queue for our process. So these steps are done, and then I will go to my main process. Now here what I wanted to do, as soon as I've read my data and I've added everything into collection, right? Uh, then what I wanted to do. So first thing, obviously, let me first launch the application and then sign in into my application. Those are the basic things that I wanted to do. So as soon as I sign in into my application, what I wanted to do is first create an action. So you are provided with an internal business object called work queue, where you have action called add to queue. So I'm going to add entire collection into queue. So let me give my queue name, which is order queue. Which collection data that you are going to add? It is order system data that you are going to add. So let me add that. Leave this field empty for now, and output also let it be empty. So this is nothing but add to queue. Now as soon as you have added the entire content into queue, you wanted to get hold of the first item which is there in the queue, right? So for that, again you can bring one more action stage and get item from work queue. So again you get the work collection item and get item data. So no, so you'll be using so once you have this get next item, right? So the next item which is there, it will be come to your queue. Now again the queue name, so you provide the queue name is order queue, from where you'll be getting the data, and then leave other things as it is. And then you'll be having item ID which get created, so you can create the item ID and the new collection that you wanted to create, right? So let's say the new collection name is data. So you created a data collection here. Now, yeah. So after this, once you have created this item here, let it bring this side. Now you have added the data to the, let me just make the process bigger. Yeah. So you added the data to queue and you are trying to get the next item. Now you will get the next item. You'll place a lock on the item which is there in queue, and you start working on it. But it will only work for the one item. Now again you wanted to go hold of the second item. So for that you have to add one condition here, right? So again you have to, sorry. So I'll bring one decision stage here. I will say that check item data, because what is happening here, if you see, every time it is creating one new item ID as soon as it's adding the particular item which is there in queue, and it is taking the item to start processing, like start processing to BLueprism. It is creating a unique item ID for the particular item, uh, line item which is there in queue, right? So because it is importing the value from the queue and taking it into BLueprism and start processing it. So that's why it is assigning a unique item ID to the particular row, and then that particular row gets stored into a collection called data for a temporary basis. Now that's why till the time this item ID don't get blank, this will keep on processing. So like item ID is not equal to blank, we'll give the condition here. And what if item ID is not equal to blank? Like there is something already there. Then we wanted to call the create order page. And if the item ID is equal to blank, then we basically call the process out. Now, once we click on the create order, again, what we wanted to do, we wanted to go and get hold of the next item. So use the anchor stage here, delete this. Use the other anchor. So what will happen, like it will first try to add everything into queue, and then it is going to pick the next item. It will create a lock on one item, and after that it is start processing and will check a condition here first. Like if the item ID is blank, no, item ID is not blank, go and create order. As soon as creating the order, it will again, once it come out of this particular loop to the main page, again it will go back and check, take the next item, and then again if there will be no next item, then obviously the item ID will be blank, and here this condition will get satisfied. So I mean it will go to the end stage. Now the main thing is, if you see here, we are calling this particular create order, right? And in create order, we have like we have used the loop stage, but as I've told you initially, like when you are going to use the work queue, you don't require to use the loop stage, because we are now no more looping on the collections, right? We have already added entire collection to work queue, and we are processing on every item that we are getting. So what you wanted to do, you wanted to delete the particular collection here. Now one more thing, you have deleted your loop, and now what is happening here, if you see, every time it is going and creating an order, it is getting the data from your get item from work queue, right? And this one item is storing its data temporarily in this particular collection called data. So now instead of using the other collection called order system, we are going to get data from the data collection queue. So in create order, whatever value that you are having here as order system, you can just replace it by data.product code, data.number required, data.unit price, data.cost center. And here also, like pretty much once you have calculated everything and you're going to store the value. Now there's one more thing, like since now you are going to store the value here, the important thing is where we wanted to store the value, because if you're going to store the value in this particular data item, this will be like for a temporary purpose. So let's say for just for now, you just add the value here, data.cost center, total cost, data.get reference, okay. Now as soon as you process this, right, what you wanted to do, you wanted to basically because what is I'm trying to say is this data collection that you have created is for temporary purpose, because every time it will read a single row, it will process it, and let's say whatever value that it has stored here for total price and for reference number, it will be gone next time when it will be going to read the next values. But you wanted this value to be stored somewhere, right? Because if you don't store it, how you going to store that value back to the Excel sheet? So you wanted to basically append the value to some new collection. So maybe you can create a new collection. You give new final collection, you can give name as, and append row. So you have collection manipulation utility here. So here you can say no append rows to collection, and for that the main collection you have is your final collection, and from which collection that you are going to append is your data collection, and the output that you wanted to store is in final collection. So you wanted to do that, and then after you process this successfully, you wanted to mark the item as complete. So once you go into your work queue, so here it says mark complete. The item ID is nothing but the item ID that you are using. Yeah. Now we wanted to write the value. Now here we have used a final collection where we are going to have all the value. So in the write output stage, instead of using the order system, we are going to use the final collection value to store the value. Okay, save data. Yeah. So these are values. No store in mapping set for output parameter ID. Okay, so you can leave this thing. This is just a warning because we don't want to assign the values here. Yeah. Now let me run this process, see what happened. But before running, we just wanted to make sure where nothing have in the order queue system. So it's blank. Let me first run it at normal speed, see what happens. So now it's first reading the value in the Excel sheet to a collection. Now you have everything into your order system collection. It's launching the application and signing it. All right, now it is going to add entire thing into the work queue. Got the first item, start processing it, creating the order. Collection data is out of scope. Okay. So when I say out of scope is means what happens like here if you see it is hidden from the other page in the process. So when it went here, although we have defined it, but it was not able to access it. Now if you go here and see, this is visible here, right? Now if you go here and just refresh it, you see all those rows has been added here. So let me again delete it, mark as exception and delete it. Oh yeah, the now error is also 0C. So just run it. Adding to the queue and then creating the order now. Input the values, getting the reference number, going back, appending the rows. So you see final collection row 1 of 1 has added. Again, it's going in creating the order. Now it's row 1 of 2. Yeah, guys. So now the process has completed. So first thing is, if you go here in the control room and you refresh your order queue, so you will see that all the item that was added to your queue has been completed, and you can see that the average time it took to complete one item. So it is 15 seconds to complete a single item. And if you go here and you see your final collection, so you get pretty much all the values that you want. Everything is added. And if you go here in the Excel sheet, so all the value get added in your output sheet also. So this is pretty much, I mean, we have used everything. This is how this will get processed when your process is in production, unhandled, using in control room with the work queues, running at the fastest speed, and then this is how you will be working on it. Then the only thing that is remaining here is uh, you can define some exceptions. So you can define exception for everything. What you can do, like let's say you are going into the launch application. So here, if the application is unable to launch, so for that you can define, you can add one block, and for that block you can define a exception, right? And so you can do. So like for every item, you can define the exception, and then you can handle the exception in case of any failure. And then in the main page also, for every unit you can define, like in case of let's say if it get fail at any stage, how you're going to handle it. So if it, like let's say check data item and create the order. So in the create order, if there is any exception, so maybe instead of adding it to the append row, you won't add it, and then you will mark it as exception, and then you will move it to get next item from work queue. And then how many time you wanted to retry the exception, that logic I already told you, you can define it in your work queue. So here if you go here and in order queue, you can define, let's say 2 time. So if this part one item get failed, if you go to the control room, if this one item gets failed here, so it will create a replica again next time to process it again, the same item. And the item key is nothing but you can define your item key. So let's say if you go again here in the system and open your work queue, so you have a key name, right? So let's say you say that product code is your key name. So you can define the key name here, product code, and say apply. Now once you go into the control room in order queue, so you refresh it. So next time when you'll be running it, you will be seeing that this item key will be reflecting here, the product key that you have added. Yeah. And then once you have built your application, you can go into the release management, which I already told you. You can create the package. You can take all the process and object and the work queue that you have created, build a .bp release file, and then once you have the file, you can move into different environment and deploy your application. So pretty much end-to-end things I've tried to cover using this consolidation exercise for the desktop. We will try some more, I will try to take some web example and try to execute it end-to-end again. and then it will be open for a question and answer session. If you feel that you still have some difficulty, we can take that particular concept and try to look into it. Hello. Hey Anil.
Yeah, hi Karan. So I have a quick question. So this, when we run this process, right, executing, we can do it from the queue system itself, or we have to go to the process studio and then click on the play button? Because
No,
the
no, no, no. Once you'll be running your process, you are going to run through your control room. So in control room, you have a scheduler here. So what happens, like based on your requirement, so you'll be receiving the requirement from your business analyst, right? I mean, your process. Let's say this is my HR process, and this is something. We get all the requests at 5 a.m. and we have to process all the entire request from 5 to 9 a.m. before employee comes into office. So I'll schedule my robo. The bot, actually, when I say robo, it's in BLueprism, it's bot. So I'll schedule my bot to run from 5 to 9. So whatever, and I can make, which process I want to run from 5 to 9, and then the bot will automatically start processing that particular process, in automated way, and it will be running in the work queue manner, right? So you don't need to go to process studio and run it manually, and no one need to even to there to sit there and monitor it, like what's going around. That's the main benefit of RPA, right? It is unattended process. It can run anytime, in morning, day, night, whenever you want to run it. And once you're done, you can send the report also to management. So this is how, I mean, this is something you don't have to like do anything manual here. Once you have deployed your process, your bot will take care of everything.
okay.
Yeah. And
So the
one more thing, the how the bot works here, just to give the idea, maybe I have spoke about it before also, but so every the process that you deploy, like every bot is corresponding to one VM. Okay, so every VM you can suppose as one bot. So what happens when you start working on any application? So let's say for your enterprise, there is XYZ application, right? So for XYZ application, like bot need to have the access to XYZ application to work on it, right? How it will log in and log out. I mean, it need to have access, like how you used to have access to one application. You log in by your username password, right? Accordingly, bot need to have the access to that application. So there will be a provisioning team who will do all the provisioning. It will provide all the access to the bot. So once bot is having all the access in the particular VM, you assign that this VM is dedicated to run this particular process, and this bot is uniquely I mean, assigned to this particular VM. So there will be also an admin or provisioning team, you can say, which will be working with RPA team to assist in all this activity. And also, just to give you an overview here, like when the process, I think I told you before also, but again, I'm just repeating it. So when the project is start, there will be a discovery team whose work is just to find it out, if even if the process is automated, like even there is a scope of automation or not, right? So there is a discovery team who will look into each and every step, try to identify if there is any roadblock or any challenges. If there is anything that they see, they'll flag it. Otherwise, if they say that this is pretty much we can automate it, then it comes to the delivery team. Now when it's come to delivery team, and the project get assigned, uh, the business analysts start working on the process definition document. So he will create process definition document. The process definition document is nothing but it will create all the screenshot, all this action that you're doing the manually, how currently the process is running manually, how much time it take to run each and every step in the process, who all the point of contacts are, and all the exceptions, what will happen in this case, what failure it will throw. All entire detail, functional detail, it will try to capture in process definition document. Now, once that is ready, uh, the development team will start working on solution definition document, which is called SDD. In solution definition document, you will define everything from technical point of view, what all objects that you are going to create, what all process that you are going to create, how many process you are creating, how your queue design is, how you are going to access the items, what all exceptions that you have defined, what all schedulers that you have assigned, how many bots are there in your, taking care of the process. So all these things that you'll be defining, what all the steps that you are taking in your process, how many sub processes are there, how many pages are there. Then you'll also creating a PDI, like, process definition document and object definition document, where all the entire detail will be there. So once you have created everything, and once it gets signed off, then you'll start working on the solutioning part. Then you'll start working on your BLueprism, defining everything. So this is how, a basic a project runs through for RPA. And RPA project is for a very small duration. Usually, if you are working in RPA, you'll end up working in 3 or 4 projects in a year. Every project don't run more than three months. Like 3 to 4 months is a maximum time that an RPA project can run.
So once you work on a project, it will be automated, so it will be carry on.
Yes.
So
So
not.
once you have worked, yeah. So there's one more thing. Once you have worked, again, then you have a support team. So obviously, you'll be receiving. So once your process is there in production, you'll be receiving. So when I say about, so every time your process is having a happy path and an unhappy path, right? Whatever I've shown you is a happy path, but then there are exceptions happens, right? There are things which is, you don't know what will happen in production and how the network behave and what not. So that is why you have exception handling. So whenever you capture any exception, you say that, mark that particular item in the work queue as an exception, and you have certain reason for the exception. So the particular support team is to look into those exception and see, if there is something, a root cause analysis will be there. If there's something, a defect, if there is some problem in the process which can be resolved, then a change request will come and it will assign to a developer and he can start working on it. The main thing is, for RPA project, the time to market is very less, so it don't follow the conventional route. So as soon as you have this change request, you can pretty much quickly deploy after testing it to the production. So it save a lot of time. And obviously, yeah, you have a support team there to take care of it, in case of any failure, or so things will not get missed out. Like, if let's say you have 10 employees whose access need to be revoked, or you have some HR system where you have to assign something. So for 9 employee you worked fine, but for 1 employee you got exception. But that exception will be there in your work queue, right? So someone will be there to look into that particular item. It can be your support team, or if support team is not able to figure out, he will pass it on to the application owner, the HR team, right? And they can look into what happened, how they used to do it manually, and what got failed. So yeah, this is how this entire end-to-end things work.
So Karan, one last thing. Um,
Hmm.
the business objects that we have, right, for Excel, we have a lot of action names. Is there a data dictionary what each action does something, or because sometimes by just seeing the name we might not understand what is the
Yeah. So I think I told you, but again, let me tell you. So see what happen if you open any action, right? So there is an icon here, information icon, right? So you can say view documentation, and it will give you entire actions that a pretty much a business object can use. So everything is there. You can see any person cannot remember anything. I mean everything, right? I mean as a developer also, I might not have used many things. So obviously I'll go here and refer it, like what combo Java box used to do, what is a focus item used to do. So like that.
Okay.
So once your concept is clear, you can go there and see what, based on what you can define the things, right?
That is correct.
Yeah. And yeah, guys, I think there is some documentation. So I think do you have some documentation? Anil, Aruna, Venkatesh.
Documentation for what?
Do you have the foundation training course, I mean material, or other PDFs related to BLueprism?
No, I
Yes,
don't
yes, we
have.
have.
Okay.
Is there in the website portal, you see?
Pardon? Did you guys try to log in into portal?
Yeah,
Yes,
I logged
yes,
into the
yes, correct.
portal, but there is something LMS learning link where they have some videos there.
No, man. I mean, see, you can in the portal itself there is a uh, I think a guide. There is a one in the drop down. If you say the guides are there, so once you click on the guides, it will give you all those guides. All the PDF files.
Okay, I'll check it.
Yeah. It will be there. No problem. If it not, you don't find it, let me know. I can provide you. Just email me in case if you don't find it.
Thank
Yeah.
Karan, you told you will be sending the videos that are available with you. So,
Yeah, VBOs, right? Yeah,
uh,
sure. Let me just write it down. So
okay.
VBOs, and yeah, I'll send you VBOs, no problem.
Another one thing, Karan, that a VP travel sheet, you already have the Excel sheet, right? That also
Yeah,
we need
I
it.
will send you. Sure, I'll send you that also. So
The
VBO
list
and
of
Excel sheet.
travel.
Yeah. I'll
Yes.
send you. I'll send that also.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Karan, we have entered to the portal that we have logged in that portal, BLueprism portal.blueprism.com. Okay. We have downloaded the software also, BLueprism software. Okay.
Right. Right.
We have sent the mail for the license. The license is free license or is that the trial version license or something?
Yeah, I think licenses. I mean, I don't know like how. I mean, I think as a 24, they have this is in their VMs and they have given you the access, right? That is how this
Yes.
working out. Yeah,
Yes.
but
That
if
one
you
I
want
have.
to, yeah, if you want to install in your local system, right, you need to get a trial license file
Okay.
lic file. Yeah, so you can, that's what if you do you, in your company they have implemented BLueprism, or is someone is working?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Then you can check with your colleagues, right? They can able to give you.
Yes. That one I need to check with India team. So
Yeah.
before that, I have sent the mail to BLueprism team, also support.blueprism.com. So
Yeah.
they mentioned some account manager like that. So we are waiting that one.
Exactly. So, I mean, what happened like every company, I mean, every like if you say Blue Prism or Work Fusion, so every this particular company has some point of contact, right? So that point of contact will be your account manager. So he can able to provide you that, like, or someone who is working under him can able to give you the license file.
Okay.
Yeah, probably the training team, they must be having it.
Okay. Karan, another thing, this BLueprism will support for web application, Windows application, and another one is Citrix.
It will support pretty much everything, man. I mean, see, it will
Okay.
support your Oracle suites, SAP. So all this comes, right, and web, desktop, and then the latest thing is Surface Automation. Surface Automation, if you go, like, you have to go through the Citrix mode, identifying the images and OCR the values and all those things. So these things, once you start working on project, you will understand, because the things will remain same. It is just a matter how you spy it, how you get hold of the objects and all, right?
Okay.
Even let's
Yes.
say for mainframe, the concept will remain same. It is just like, did you guys anyone have worked on mainframe? Yes, no?
No, Karan. Myself,
Okay.
no.
So yeah, so if you have worked on mainframe, right, even there also, you need to spy on the, like, once the screen is open, you input some value and then you do a tab, right? Tab, tab, tab. So you have all those options which you can mimic through BLueprism. So the object will be tightly interface your mainframe application, and it will enter all the values that you wanted to do by spying everything. So yeah, it will spy all the reason, and then you will define the reason that in this particular reason only you have to give the input, and from this reason you have to get the output, like that. So things will remain same, just the way of doing it will differ from if you go from mainframe to Citrix application. Yeah, but is it the main thing is with BLueprism it is very stable, right? The stability is very more, and the market capture is very big. So the way it is growing in every latest version, it is bringing with a lot of updates and all. Like if there is any features moving toward AI, also machine learning. So yeah, from other tool I
Yes.
compare
I think
that there is a good capture.
surface automation and
Right.
all we will see in the next week, right? Or surface automation.
Surface
What?
automation. See, Venkatesh, the problem is I am working in my local system. I cannot able to access. But what I'm trying to say, like if surface automation is anyway is very advanced topic. Even if you're going to write your basic certification, which is AD01, you are not going to ask a single question from surface automation. So it is an advanced
Okay.
topic. Yeah, it will take time. Um, you know, you have to spend time on that. First, I think if you have started with a BLueprism, and I think it's time to devote the basic thing and go through entire thing. And then once you was working in a project, obviously you'll able to pick it up the surface automation also. Because many guys I know, like who's are working, if they have not worked on surface automation, they cannot work it just by the training thing, right? I mean, uh, some has worked on Java application, but some has not worked on mainframe. So it depend upon once you are working on one project, which project you get assigned to. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yes, Karan.
Yeah, yeah. So guys, I mean, I just wanted to make sure, like, I mean, we are into our end of our training session. Okay. So do you guys available on the weekend, or how is it? Are you only available on Monday? Hello? Hello?
Karan, better we can do something in Monday because weekend we are planning
Okay.
something.
Okay. Okay. No problem. Then we will see on Monday. Uh, just practice whatever you have, and then we will be open for question and answer, and we'll look into some more web automation. And if there is any additional thing, if I feel that I can share with you, I'll try to do that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and I will share the VBOs and the Excel sheet and the data that I have with you guys by email.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. Then have a good weekend. See you on Monday.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Karan.
Thank you.